section 3, progression. The best section of this class. Easy. Easy. All about growth, right? All about moving forward. Okay, here we go. First thing we're going to talk about are rehearsal killers, okay? Threats to your rehearsal effectiveness, okay? A little bit different from obstacles. Obstacles are these kind of things where there are life events, or they are things where other people put them in your lane. Okay, what we're going to talk about here is rehearsal killers in a different space. Okay. This is obvious, right? Yeah, we all know this, right? Best laid plans of mice and men, right? Planning and execution will carry your rehearsals far, right? Until you start to get challenged on them, right? Until those problems start to arise. Okay. Constantly aware, leaders are constantly aware of the things that are detrimental to the efficiency and consistency of your rehearsals. Constantly aware. It's going to come from that pesky, shop member across the hall. Challenges are going to come from people inside the ensemble who bring challenges to the ensemble. Some of the challenges are going to come from you, and that's okay, because nobody's born as a leader of a musical ensemble. We're all figuring it out, right? We're all growing. Not everybody went to school for this, too. That's another thing. Like some of the challenges are going to come from you because you might not know yet, and that's cool. As long as you're learning about it, as long as you're growing through it, that's the important part, okay? And recognizing what challenges you're bringing to your rehearsal. Okay, rehearsal killer number 1, ambiguity. Do we have rehearsal on Monday? Are we repeating these? Am I on that project? What's the due date for that? We will never get rid of ambiguity in musical ensembles. We'll never get rid of ambiguity in the art or the world, probably. Okay? But it's not about defeating it, and eliminating it entirely and making sure everybody always knows everything. It's not about that. It's about fighting ambiguity always, looking for every opportunity to inform people and keep them informed, right? And making sure that they have the resources they need to show up and kill it, right? It's always being thought. Some of the examples that I was just reading up, right? Okay, where is this guy? What's he doing? How come he's not here? Ambiguity. How long am I playing for? Ambiguity. These are the things that are so detrimental to your rehearsal. That's why it's rehearsal killer number 1. Okay? One of the most crucial responsibilities out there. Okay? Each one of these rehearsal killers, we're going to end with a progression check. Okay? Check it out. Check your MPT rehearsal for the next, schedule, assuming you have one. Check that schedule for the next 7 days. What do you not know? What's missing? What do your folks not know right now? I'm thinking about, what does my bassist not know right now? Right? And then I'm thinking about, how do I get him that information? How do I make sure that he can't show up to rehearsal and go, I didn't know? Fighting the ambiguity, right? My rhythm section right now has no idea what we're doing for sectionals on Wednesday. That's bad. But guess what? It's coming to the end of today. Yeah? You guys didn't know what we're doing on Wednesday. Okay? Fighting that ambiguity. Okay? Rehearsal killer number 2, ego. Okay? Many forms. Many forms. If we set a foundation of team identity, team strength, individual contributions to the team, and group progress, we can fight against ego. Okay? Now, ego is not just like, I'm the best person in this group and I don't care about anyone else. It's not just that. Okay? It takes a few different forms. Hey, I'm not going to be there on Monday, but I already know my part, so it's cool. Your part, well, that's great. But it's rehearsal, not practice session, right? Many forms, okay? This is stupid. Can we just shut up and play, right? Somebody wants more reps in their rehearsal schedule, okay? Hey, you might think that we need more repetition, but check it out. What the group needs is different, okay? That mentality of like, what about me, right? That's what I mean by ego, the rehearsal killer number 2, okay? Team first mentality from all members. Commitment to team building. In the room and outside it. That's how we fight against that kind of stuff, right? Leaders, examine your team. This is the progression check. Examine your team. Is everyone bought in? Is everybody in that MPT like, yeah, this is who we are. This is what we do. Is everybody bought in on that? And what can you do to bring everyone in if they're not? Most important one. Rehearsal killer number 3, lacking ownership. Okay? How many of you have read the book Extreme Ownership by John Williams? might think to yourself, okay, Jocko Willink is a retired Navy SEAL. Okay, yes, whoa, bringing Navy SEAL concepts to rehearsal. Freaky. Well, it's kind of like all-encompassing, the idea of ownership. Okay, or as he talks about in his book, extreme ownership. Okay? It's all-encompassing, and it affects all levels of leadership, right? A positive element of group empowerment combined with personal responsibility. It's a joint thing, right? It comes together. A leader without ownership produces a team without leadership. Yeah, go get that tattooed on your forearm. Yeah. You're in rehearsal, you get that, oh crap. Yeah, right? Okay, a leader without ownership produces a team without leadership. Okay? So an example. I don't know, what do you think we should do? Own it. Right? This is important, I want to explain this one. Overexertion of democratic leadership elements to the group detriment. Okay? I'm not sitting here saying that you need to be out there going, no, we're going to do this, and because I like it, and we're going to do this because it's good. I'm not saying that that's ownership. Okay? What I'm saying is that if you are consistently leaving it up to the democratic process to the point where your group can't play, can't show up on time, can't make it to the mission and do what it's supposed to do, right? Or your rehearsals have no momentum because you're not, getting to the next thing, because maybe you're coming back to that democratic process over and over and over again. Lack of ownership. Fear of decision making. It's an example of lack of ownership. Redirecting blame. Oh, we were late because of Sergeant Blah. We didn't get packed up on time because of Specialist so-and-so. We don't have a whole lot left in this one, so I'll go ahead and tell you this right now. So we had a gig last week on Thursday, okay? Music was supposed to start at 11:30, and it didn't. And that's my fault. Okay? It's my fault that we were at our EO observance, right? Where the music was supposed to start at 11:30, and it didn't. It was my fault. Because I had people in my team who thought, okay, well, we have like 5 or 6 minutes, so I can go do this thing. And I failed to keep everybody informed that music was supposed to start at 11:30. That's my fault, on me, no one else in the group. However, my group went and killed it. They loved our music that we brought to that EO observance. They loved it. That was my group. That was the group's production. That was the group's success. That's what this is. Okay? I own mistakes and I own responsibility for what went wrong, and my group owns responsibility for what went right. That's the kind of ownership that can inform your rehearsal planning process and your execution process. And then your progression too. And what comes with that is when people walk into the room, they already know who's running it. They already know who has responsibility for that group. Not who owns it, right, but who has responsibility. Ownership is not authority. Ownership is not authority. It's not. It's responsibility. Own your groups. Be responsible for them. Okay. We can talk about 2 more things, right? Power of the AAR. Whoa, you guys are bringing battle-focused training regulations into a rehearsal class? Are you crazy? Maybe. Okay. The AAR, rehearsal leaders, assistant entity leaders, hopefully in the future, right? The power of the AAR, I'm telling you, you guys are putting these into your rehearsal cycle, into your rehearsal season, okay? Put them in, but do them right. Man, there are more wrong AARs in the Army than there are right ones. Implement these and put them periodically in your rehearsal cycle. Go play 4 gigs with all the rehearsals in between, and after the 4th gig, have a macro AAR over the last 4 gigs, and the rehearsals included. Or do it after every gig, and include the rehearsals on it. However you want to do it. Most importantly, AARs are not critiques, because they do not determine success or failure. They are not critiques. They are not critiques. They just ain't. Okay? We use AARs to tell a story about what was planned, what happened, why it happened, okay? And what could have been done differently to improve it. They are not critiques. Talked about that just a few seconds ago. Insert periodical AARs into rehearsal cycle. This whole chapter is on progression. This is where it starts. Understand it's not about you. AARs are not MPT leader qualification checks. That's not what they are. It's not. It's not about you, it's about that group growing, okay? Insert those AARs. check this out. How many of you lead your AAR when you're supposed to? Once all the key points have been discussed and linked to future training, the AAR leader should leave the immediate area. Leave the area. Let your group, okay, hey, AAR, we talked about what was supposed to happen, we talked about what happened, okay, we talked about the things the things that should sustain, the things that improve, and then you, as the person who is running that AAR, right, or maybe you, the person who designed the training, they're like, all right, you guys close it up. And remove yourself. Remove the element of you, being the person who designed that whole thing, from the room. And allow that AAR to continue. Pick a leader, okay, in the room. Finish that AAR out. Give the soldiers the opportunity to discuss the events in private. That's right out of the ring. How many of you are leaving your AARs to allow them to discuss the events in private? A lot of benefit comes from that. All right. Last thing we'll talk about. Seniors, peers, and subordinates alike. Right? We have the fortune, the blessing of having MPTs and ensembles in pretty much most Army bands, right? Where leadership and membership crosses the rank structure, levels of musicianship, right? And different backgrounds. That's a blessing. It's a tool, it's a resource, okay? Leaders will succeed when approaching rehearsals as opportunities for all members, all levels, to achieve and grow, okay? Every member is entitled to the highest quality of leadership and direction. Let me explain what I mean by that. I'll use the Master Sergeant and Corporal as the example. I know I need to get my rehearsal agenda out on time. I haven't done it yet. And I know the Master Sergeant in my group has to get to the command and staff meeting on Thursday and needs to plan around my agenda. And I know that the corporal in my group needs to get out of home, or needs to get out of work early enough to go pick up their daughter. What I am not going to do is I'm not going to sit there and text that Master Sergeant and be like, hey, yeah, we'll be out on time, and then wait till the next day to give that agenda to the corporal. All are entitled to the highest quality of leadership and direction. Everybody. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to work on that agenda as soon as possible, because they're all entitled to it, and everybody gets it, so everybody stays in power, right? The sergeant and the specialist, right? When it comes to understanding in my rehearsal who I'm going to serve, like who I'm going to have set up the room, who I'm going to have set up the mics and stuff like that, everybody's entitled to the highest quality of direction, right? When we get in that room, when we're in that room and we're doing those things, everybody gets that entitlement across structure. And I have ranks written up there, but also backgrounds. I'm not going to talk to somebody differently because they already know everything about this style of music than I will somebody who's just figuring it out. No, they are both entitled to that high quality leadership and direction, regardless of background. Every member of the ensemble is also entitled to all opportunities to grow and learn. And the patience that comes with it. All right? All of them. Everybody gets it. MPT leaders, think of every person in your MPT right now. Understand that you are responsible for their growth. You're responsible for it. Okay? And so if somebody comes to you and goes like, hey, I don't really know about this kind of stuff. Do you have any stuff you can send me? Roger, Sergeant. Roger. You got it. You're responsible for it. Approach different backgrounds with respect and value. Right? Alright, let's review progression real quick and then we'll get out of here. Effective rehearsals eliminate obstacles and barriers to ensemble production, growth, and development. Best rehearsal leaders will eliminate ambiguity, suppress egotism, and own their teams by accepting responsibility. The most effective rehearsals are grown. Accordingly, leaders use the after-action review as a tool to improve the training and develop their team. Rehearsal leaders serve every member of their team with unwavering loyalty. And successful rehearsal leaders are always seeking opportunities to grow members of their ensemble, regardless of rank, background, or expertise. All right? This is everything we talked about today. This is the whole thing. We're going to identify them, figure out what's impeding the effectiveness of our rehearsals. We're going to remove them by planning around them. Okay? Understand our scopes. Get in there and execute. Define rehearsal. Control our pillars, right? And then we're going to grow. We're going to progress, right? Fight against those rehearsal killers, own the team, give teammates opportunities. There you go. And that's the class. Yeah.